What's going on, guys? Subscribers of Razerxp Yu-Gi-Oh! My name is Jaypa, and today we are going to be talking about synchros and how to synchro and how to be good with synchros and so on and so forth. I was talking with Razor the other day, and as you can see previously on his channel, he uploaded a couple of Quasar videos that I thought were amazing because, as you guys know, I am like the biggest Quasar fanboy. So I saw his videos, and I told him how great they were, and he just said he wasn't a good synchro player. So I said, hey, I think I'm pretty decent with synchros, so do you want me to film you a video? And he said, sure, go for it. And I was like, okay. And so here we are. This is a huge topic that has a lot to cover. So I'm going to try to cram it, the most important stuff you need to know, into this one little video. But I will be starting a series in the near future on my channel, um, to help you guys get better with your synchro summoning and help build your synchro decks and stuff like that. So if you want to check out my channel, it will be in the description down below, I hope. So let's get into it. So the first topic, what decks can you synchro summon in? Well, that is kind of a weird question, because really, if you think about it, technically, any deck with tuners can synchro. But, so I guess a better question would be, what decks are very synchro based that are decent? In my opinion, my favorite version of a synchro deck is Quick Draw, Junk Doppel, whatever you want to call it. It's maybe not the fastest way to summon Quasar, but it is surely the most interesting, because you can toolbox into a lot of things, and when you're in different situations, different cards can help you out, and in my opinion, that's really good. And a lot of variety goes into quick draw decks because of how different people play the deck. You can have certain choices of certain cards that do certain things, and it can get really creative if in the right hands. So the synchros themselves, a lot of people have difficulty, I want to say, synchro summoning, just because sometimes I feel like they don't know what to go for, or they don't know what's good to go for at a certain point. Sometimes, yes, synchroing can get very confusing. So what I would suggest is just build a deck. Um, you can put your own deck together. You can go copy it from somebody else. But just make a quick draw deck, or a TG deck, any deck that can basically synchro, with a large amount of levels, if you catch my drift. So, like, there's not one level 4 synchro or in your extra deck or something like that. And just get familiar, like, with what synchros you're playing and what their effects do. So really, when you want a synchro deck, you want synchros that lead into other synchros and help you progress a field that is, progressive to what you want to do, which is win the game. A very important card in that is Hyper Librarian, because anytime you synchro summon, you get to draw one. And this guy is completely broke. Completely. I'm not even joking. In the Blackwing Quasar, Razor uploaded a couple days ago. You just draw an insane amount of cards. You basically draw your whole deck, and because you draw your whole deck, you can go double Quasar, Clear Wing, Crystal Wing, and all that. So a lot of what quick draw decks do, essentially, is synchro climb. And what that means is, like, say you special something. I didn't really think about this part. But okay, but let's say you have a glow up in the grave, right? Yeah, glow up in the grave, and you have level leader in the grave as well, and a junk synchron in hand. This is not the most optimal play, but it's a good example of what synchro climbing is. So what you would do is you would summon junk synchron, bring back the level leader, synchro into armory arm, and then bring back glow up bulb and synchro into hyper librarian. And then maybe if you have a doppel in your hand, you can special that and do other things. Actually, a really good example of synchro climbing is, in fact, the Blackwing video. There is a lot of synchro climbing, and we're actually going to watch both of those videos because it's the same deck, but essentially it's played different. And I think that's important to learn how to get better. So, in that deck, the two main cards are these two, and they are tuners and they modulate levels. Which brings me to another point, is when you're building your extra deck, if you're building a Quasar deck, just specifically for that reason, to summon Shooting Quasar Dragon, I would suggest having monsters that can level modulate easily. You know, cards like Excel Synchron, cards like Phonon Pulse Dragon. And the cool thing I don't think people know about this is I used to think personally this was a bad card just because of the fact that it says you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except for a synchro summon using this card as a synchro material. Now that would be good if the last thing you summon is Shooting Quasar Dragon. But sometimes in synchro decks that's not the case. You have to go into this to go into something else. So let me let you in on a little secret here. This card's effect. If you do not activate the level modulating effect, you can still special summon. So I would only recommend going for this if you know you have Quasar and then using the special level modulation effect. But if you don't, you can still synchro summon this guy and go into other synchros. And then from there, you can, make your Quasar with whatever else you have in the extra deck. A more recent synchro deck, Speedroids, is just, from what I've seen, they're kind of a deck that just, special summon search, special search, synchro, specials, kind of like that. So maybe Speedroids would be easier for you to pick up. Maybe learn the whole synchro climbing thing if you throw in maybe a level leader or something. Another thing you want to think about when building Quasar decks is cards that work from all angles. And what I mean from all angles is they work in the hand, in the field, and in the graveyard. So like Doppel works in hand, Level Leader, Quilbo, Spore, all these guys work in the graveyard. And it just has really good synergy with each other, which allows you to synchro easier. So, and another thing you could keep in mind is that certain cards have certain attributes or certain requirements for monsters to synchro summon into them. So you might want to tech in something if you want to synchro summon a certain card or because you like a certain effect. And that's really up to you if you want to do something like that. Also, you want to have cards in your extra deck that can provide you with, you know, some sort of safety net, kind of, but not really. Cards like, Trishula, which banish from hand, field, and graveyard. Maybe Mistworm, if you want to send all the cards, and then Stardust Warrior if you want to negate the summons. And this actually is a really interesting card. It's called Dark Diviner, and this card cannot be destroyed by battle. When this card declares an attack, if the attack of the target is higher than this card, the attack of the attack target becomes equal to this face-up card's current attack. This change lasts until the end of the battle phase. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, send the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. Now that's a pretty cool effect. And in Junk Synchron decks, you can summon this guy very easily with just a Junk Synchron and a Level Leader. And it's a really common thing. And he can't be destroyed by battle, so that makes it a little easier to defend yourself. You might, if you feel the need to, run Clear Wing Synchro Dragon or Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Both are very good synchros. They're like mini Quasars, Quasar Juniors, but the only thing I don't like about these is if I summon them, I want to use them as fodder or level eater stuff so I can summon Quasar. And that's... I don't want to synchro into this to not use it, is basically what I'm saying. But Quasar decks in general have gotten so much faster in the fact that so many cards are searchable now. So many cards just special summon themselves for no reason. It's progressed with the game, but unfortunately not as fast as the meta is progressing. I mean, like Jet Warrior is if this card is synchro summoned, can target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. That's a good effect. The other effect is, if this card is in your graveyard, you can tribute 1 level 2 or lower monster, special summon this card in defense position, but when it leaves the field, banish it. So that's a good graveyard utility effect, because you can tribute Cobalt, you can tribute Doppel Warrior, you can tribute a lot of things. You just can't tribute Level Leader, which is kind of stupid, but we'll save that for another day. But yeah, that's kind of all I want to say about that. So for now, we will go to the 2 duel videos and we will analyze them to see what we are dealing with as far as a synchro scenario is concerned. Okay, so here we are with the first Quasar Blackwing deck he uploaded that he did not create himself. First off, I just want to say that I've made this deck, and I've played with this deck, and I've tested it ferociously, and I feel that I have the deck complete to where I like it. But we'll look at the deck profile in just a second. So, let's see what we have going on here. So, first, Razor makes his turn, and then the Synchro Madness happens. So, as you can see, he runs a lot of destruction cards, not destruction cards, but discard cards, to discard what you don't need from the hand into the graveyard, so you can use them to synchro summon with. And like I said, this card right here and the other Blackwing that's on the field, those 2 cards are the main part of this combo, and you have to have Level Eater in the graveyard, which is mostly why you run Armageddon Knights. There is a combo where if you have a level 1 tuner that can special summon itself, from the graveyard in the graveyard, and a level leader in the graveyard as well. Or you don't have to have level leader actually. What you can do is just have a level 1 tuner in the graveyard and have the level 5 Blackwing that can special summon itself. And then what you do is you special summon the Blackwing, and then you summon the Armageddon Knight, and then you send level leader. And then what you can do is, if it's like Low Bulb or Jet Synchron, you can summon either of those from the graveyard with their effects, and then you can synchro for Hyper Librarian, and then you can go off with your level leader combo and make your double Quasars and everything else. So that's just one little tidbit. But as you can see, this is kind of an example of what I mean by synchro climbing. He's level eating this guy and synchro summoning with him over and over again, because this guy's effect is if this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as a material, it is treated as a tuner. So that means that if you level eat and synchro with it, you technically synchro with a Blackwing monster, so you can just do it over and over and over. And basically, with this alone, with just this little loop here, you can get 3 cards, and that is amazing. But as you're gonna see, you're gonna get a lot more than just 3 cards. So a little loop goes on, and then when you synchro summon with the second Blackwing Summer Rain, I think his name is, when you synchro summon with the second one, and it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon the first one. So then you'll have 2, which is what I do, but I don't remember if this guy does it. But either way, so then he goes into Coral Dragon after he goes into Excel Synchron, and then he uses Excel Synchron's effect to dump Jet Synchron to the graveyard, and then he level eats the level 6 Excel, and then there's your Coral Dragon. And then he'll level eat the Coral Dragon to make another Coral Dragon, and then the other Coral Dragon that he's synchroed with will activate, and then Hyper Librarian will activate, which will give you 2 more cards. Essentially, in this combo, you draw your entire deck, and it's insane. And then you synchro into Power Tool, and what Power Tool does is, if you don't already have one of them in your hand, you run different dimension incarnation, or the one that you discard a card and you can special a banish monster. So he helps you get those, and then it kind of sucks a little because it says his effect is you can select 3 equipped spell cards. So if you have one in your hand, his effect is kind of useless. Because I wish it kind of said select up to 3, but you know, can't do anything about it now. But he is great level fodder, as you'll see. So he comes out, and then he gets a different dimension card thing, and then Level Leader comes out. Level Leader is really the star of this combo, as Razor stated in his video title. And as you can see, this guy is just going off. So there's the first Quasar, and then this is where things get interesting. Because one thing I want to mention is that you can get 2 Quasars out with a Librarian still on the field, and like back when Synchros first came out, that would be like insane. Nobody would even think about such a field like that. But in today's Yugioh, it's completely plausible, and that's kind of amazing to me. And then there's your second Quasar. So what he did there, let me rewind it a little. Or I'll just tell you. What he did was he made Formula Synchron by Level Leader, and then he used Jet Synchron's effect. And then he made a formula, which let him draw 2. And then he used Summer Rain's effect in the graveyard to remove a Summer Rain to special summon it, itself from the graveyard, or another copy, one of the 2. And then he used the different dimension card, and then he was able to bring back the one he banished. So that's 2 5s and a formula, which is another Quasar with a librarian on board. And then he used the other one he drew into to bring back the level 4 Blackwing Tuna that he used at the beginning of the combo that he ditched with Allure of Darkness, and then he can sync that with Librarian to create Crystal Wing Dragon. So, and then he uses Ally Mind, and then this is where he synchro climbs. Remember that term? He synchro climbs into Clear Wing, and then he sets 3 solemn notices, and and there's literally nothing you can do against that. There is I don't know how you would do that. The only thing for me is solemn. If you want to build this deck in real life, solemn notice is a very expensive card. So if you want to build this deck in real life, I would suggest that you run. Here's my Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro thing again. I would suggest running a card called Ultimate Provenance. And, oh boy. What it does, it says, when a spell or trap card, when a spell / trap card or monster effect is activated, discard the same type of card, monster, spell, or trap. Negate that activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So if they activate a spell card, you discard a spell card to negate the spell card. To activate a trap, discard a trap to negate the trap. The trap one might be a little useless since you don't run any traps besides the 3. But the monster and spell negation is pretty good. It kind of backs up your Quasars and Crystal Wings like they need to be backed up. But but it's just a thought. If you want to do that. But that was that video, and since we are running on 22 minutes already, we're just gonna quickly run over. We're gonna quickly run over this this deck. It's the same deck, except Razerxp made some changes to it, and we're gonna look how it differs from the other deck. It's more of a double Quasar turbo deck than it is a Quasar Crystal Wing. He told me he made this deck because he feel like he couldn't pull off the combos in the other deck, and to that, I'm just saying, I was the same guy when I first played with this deck. Even with my extensive knowledge of Synchros, I had to fiddle with it a little before I figured out the wombo combos. So what I would suggest to you is, or any Synchro player who's looking to get better with Synchros, just play. Really, just play, learn the cards, learn the combos, just test, play, learn. That's all I can really tell you. I mean, as you can see, he gets out 2 Quasars with no effort. I mean, the whole double Quasar, triple Solemn, Clear Wing, Crystal Wing is kind of on the winning, just like it's overkill for no reason. Like, it's pretty difficult to get 2 Quasars, and I bet you if you edit the other deck enough, you could summon triple Quasar and probably a Crystal Wing too. Oh, interesting fact though, with the other one, in the playtesting I've done, you synchro summon your whole extra deck. You synchro summon 15 cards. And another great, side effect of this deck is that if you get max seed, it is very possible to deck your opponent out, because you synchro summon an insane amount of times, and you special summon an insane amount of times. So you can keep that in mind too. But other than that, guys, I think I'm gonna cut off the video here. I would just like to thank Razerxp Yugioh for letting me come on his channel and talk about this subject because I like helping people out and I like giving people advice. So, what I would like you guys to do is leave a like on this video and show Razerxp that you liked me on his channel. Subscribe to Razer Yu-Gi-Oh! XP for the awesome Quasar replays and awesome decks in general that he uploads. And just thank him for letting me upload and thank him for all the awesome content he creates. So just tap that like button to activate the trap card known as YouTube Love and just spread it around. But if you do have any questions, guys, you can head over to my channel. I do have some videos. They are kind of old, but they do talk about Quasar tips and Synchro stuff. So if you want to check those out, feel free. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment on any of my videos. You can leave a comment on this video. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my @ is JasonMaypa. So that being said, guys, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you, Razer, for letting me upload on your channel. And with that, guys, I will see you the next time I decide to make a YouTube video. Peace out.